We are live here in Paris at Paris Blockchain Week at the LCX booth. I'm here with Monty Metzger, CEO of LCX Exchange. How are you doing today?
Very well. It has been exciting opening here at the Paris Blockchain Week. It's really one of the most important events in Europe.
I can feel the energy. It's absolutely. I've been to many conferences, and this is something else. Before we get into LCX and everything that you guys are doing, I'd love to hear a little bit more about your background. I know you're an author, you're an entrepreneur, you've been in the space you've been in technology for a really long time. Tell me what got you into crypto.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm an entrepreneur by heart. I've been starting my first company while I've been in school in 1998, programming websites and doing digital from the beginning, basically. So I've been through several technology cycles with hype, before 2000. And then, now with social media then coming up 2007, 2008, we saw another hype where we had Friendster and MySpace coming around, and nobody could imagine somebody could kill these companies. And then Mark Zuckerberg came along. And we now see the similar evolution with exchanges. There's a first generation of innovators, and there's now a second generation of like more regulated, stable, centralized exchanging coming up. So that's like LCX. And after being an entrepreneur, sold my company, invested a lot as a business angel, and started my own venture capital fund. And there, 2014, I spent a lot of time in San Francisco, met with my friend, Adam Draper, who said, Monty, it's Bitcoin. You should look into Bitcoin. And back then, there was the auction of the Silk Road, BTC, and then a Coinbase investment, which the Drapers did. And so he said, you need to look deeper. But as a regulated venture capital fund, we talked to the regulators. They didn't have a clue how to do custody, how to actually do that. There was no infrastructure. And we were, as a professional investor, completely sidelined. I could only do some deals personally, which I'm lucky that I got into, right? But as a fund, we couldn't do anything.
Wow.
So this was until 2017 when regulators stepped up. And there was one particular small country called Liechtenstein where they came up with a new framework called the Blockchain Act. And they'd been starting 2017, even 16, I think, working on it. And then 2019 it was passed, introduced 2020. So we are now regulated since 2020 under this Blockchain Act. And they came out with a framework which was so attractive that I said, I need to stop everything else I'm doing and go all in crypto.
Wow. And you just went all in.
Yeah, I moved to Switzerland in Crypto Valley. We incorporated LCX, the Liechtenstein Crypto Assets Exchange. And I stopped all my investing, all the other things. There was no time, crypto never sleeps. It's 150% or nothing, yeah.
So you just went all in and you chose Liechtenstein. Why there?
Exactly. So we looked at Hong Kong, Singapore, like all different kind of jurisdictions, obviously US as well. But Liechtenstein really stand out because it's a small country, 40,000 population. The regulator has a very good experience in terms of technology, and they're agile enough to actually came up with a framework. And a lot of these learnings from the past 5 years now, you now see in what is called the markets and crypto asset regulation on the European level. So a lot of these learnings had been adapted from the small playing ground. And for us, it's still perfect because the country is part of the European Economic Area. So we can passport now our MiCA license once we get it. So then we can operate in 30 countries, 450 million population in Europe.
Wow, that's absolutely incredible. I know that the regulatory landscape here in Europe is pretty intense, and you guys are one of the main leading regulated exchanges.
Exactly. We're now one of the fastest growing also because the last 5 years had been tough. Like we always have been the ones asking more questions for the sign up, being more strict. Also, we spend a lot of time and money into the setup of our crypto compliance suite. And it was a big headache also.
Right.
While others just ignored everything, grew, had millions of users, we always had been the hidden champion.
Wow.
But now it's turning around because a lot of these companies will not be able to operate at the end of this year. 2025 is this transition period. And then next year it will be basically a new market where only the ones who are regulated with a MiCA license will be allowed to onboard any of European users. All the tokens will need to be traded, will need to have admission to trading at ESMA with MiCA white papers, disclosures, and it brings a lot of opportunities for the market shaking up the industry and the players, and we will be certainly one of the big ones.
Wow. What do you think, given everything that you're saying and the kind of like the speed at which things are moving with different regulation and like kind of the shift into the end of 2025, where do you see real world assets going? Where do you see like the crypto space heading?
So since the beginning, the core vision of LCX was to bridge traditional finance and blockchain innovation. And if you look at the current cryptocurrency market, we're now at 2 trillion or something in market cap, hitting 3 trillion depending on prices, right? So it's still in like an early time if you compare to other traditional financial markets, which have like, let's say 500 million wallets or active users. I'm sure we will hit 1 billion or 2 billion very shortly. There's a strong interest of institutional players entering. And now with the regulatory framework, the door is open. So they can enter in a safe and secure way, and tokenization will drive this. We actually thought it might happen much earlier. So when we invested early, we did a security token framework called the Liechtenstein protocol. As a technical white paper, we launched 4 tokenized bonds. We did tokenization of real world assets. And we applied for a registration called the physical validator, which is like a notary. So if you want to tokenize this bottle, you actually need to make sure that it's safeguarded the right way. Nobody drinks it. It's in a secure vault with insurance. And we did that now with diamonds for Project for Diamonds. But we're now expanding in all different kind of other clients as well, where this role as a physical validator is needed. So we are basically the link between physical and digital.
Wow.
And ultimately, I believe tokenization will unlock $1 trillion market opportunity, much, much bigger than the current cryptocurrency.
I'm sure. I mean, you have a book called Tokenization
Right.
and the $1 trillion opportunity, right? So it came out last year, if I believe, right? Or is it coming
We prepared it.
Okay.
Now I think now it's the right time to release
Okay.
it. So it's coming out soon. Yeah.
Okay, so give us the quick summary of what tokenization is for all our listeners that are still getting into crypto and want to capitalize on this incredible opportunity.
So I often say tokenization means like bridging digital to physical, and everything that can be tokenized will be tokenized. And that's what we are currently seeing. So we see money, right? Stablecoin. We see financial products, tokenized bonds, which just like excluding the middleman. And this is what we've seen with e-commerce as well, direct to consumer. But here we're talking about big institutions who need to settle money from Japan to the US, and it takes several days. Like it's mind-blowing how analog and how slow these processes are. Also because there are so many people or so many institutions in between.
Right.
The same is from Europe. There is a lot of FX trading happening, and it is just complicated. So we see that this is where blockchain is made for, right? This is the moment for us where we can basically put any asset, whether it's a real world asset, any financial assets, derivatives, could be put on the chain with all the efficiencies. So then like settling a deal on a large trade or a corporate bond can be as easy as sending an email.
Wow. Okay, well, it seems like we have an incredible opportunity in front of us. I'm curious for my last question, as an entrepreneur who has been building for many years, has seen different cycles, and is kind of witnessing this moment that we're in now, what advice would you have for aspiring entrepreneurs as well as people that are trying to get involved into crypto at this point?
So yesterday on stage, I was asked, isn't it stressful? You know, crypto never sleeps. And I think for us as one of the industry leaders also, it's not stressful, because stress comes when you lose control of something, if you're afraid. And a lot of the bankers, they have stress. They have a lot of stress because we're taking away their market. We're enabling them. Hopefully, we can maybe work with them. But a lot of the large institutional hedge funds or so, they're worried that who needs settlement players, custodians in between. It's all together in the platform. So my advice to new entrepreneurs is really to like believe in the vision and get down to actually build something people want. And this is what we had been doing now for years. So just yesterday also we announced the LCX tokenization framework, where we take it to the next level, and now building another own chain infrastructure to actually decentralize capital markets.
Wow.
And enable large institutions to issue anything they want. On top of that, we will go global. So I've been always investing in US, spent so much time over there, but with crypto, it was a toxic environment. And now it's completely changed. We were just waiting for the new regulatory setup, and it's exciting time. So we will go all in for global expansion.
There we go. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to following the journey and getting involved. How can people find you? How can people get involved with LCX and start,
So it's
trading?
easy. Liechtenstein has a very high reputation. We talked about it before we started a bit. It's a small country, 40,000 population, high GDP in the world. It's a hub for finance and family offices. Some of the largest family offices are there based. So it's a privilege to open an account there, and it's not easy to do that at a bank. But at LCX, you can just go to lcx.com, open a free account, deposit funds in Liechtenstein, have the privilege of having an LCX account. So it's lcx.com, and then at LCX on X, you can follow us for all the updates.
Okay, well, Monty, I really appreciate it. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Gabriel.
Hey, what's up?
But it's not something Gensio is afraid of.
If you want to survive, you got to build a hive.
No, we do not understand. Ladies and gentlemen.
We're back at the Gensio Media House.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us today.